Hey guys, Peter here from the Missing Collectible podcast, and this is my run of Girl Boy in Super Meat Boy. Girl Boy is a trophy where you need to do all of Cotton Alley Light World without dying. You're allowed to exit to map if you're about to die and you pause quick enough. Some levels that helps a lot, other levels not so much. And one of the funny things about this run is that I actually did intend to get it at this point, so a lot of times what you'll do is you'll optimize your run and you'll start at a level that's really hard to do or you're not consistent at, and you'll do that first, and then you'll do the next hardest and then the next hardest, and you'll progressively get easier until like your last 6 levels are super easy. That's not actually what wound up happening. I usually, when I first start playing in a session, is I'll loop through the whole world probably 3 or 4 times just to make sure that I don't make any stupid mistakes when I get to the easier worlds, or easier levels rather. And so what you're going to see is I'm actually going to die on level 13, which wasn't too expected. Like, you expect to die when you're looping through the world like this, but I die in 13 and I just kind of keep going. And then once I did 19 and 20, it's like, oh, I might actually have a shot at doing it on this run. And so I just kind of restarted the world because I didn't remember exactly which level I had started not dying on. And so it's like, eventually I'll hit it if I just don't die. So then you run off and do it. There isn't too much that you can do in level 13 that's super helpful. It's pretty much just practice and getting the jumps right. That's what you'll see a lot in the later worlds of Super Meat Boy, unfortunately. So there's no way to really cheat. And what you'll see here in level 14 is I actually screw around a little bit because at this point I did remember that I'd only just died. So usually what you do in 14 is if you don't grab 2 keys in a single jump, you restart because there's no reason to put yourself at unnecessary risk on these runs. But I screw around a little bit. 15 takes a little practice to get consistent, but once you do it enough times, like, hundreds of times, you eventually figure out exactly how these guys move, if you move in the same consistent fashion, and at the end of the level here, if you just run off the ledges as they disappear, you kind of just cheat to the end of the level. 16 is one of 2 levels in this world, which I'm not consistent with at all, and anything with gravity or with the fans or with the Langoliers, they just mess you up. And I don't know if there's a way to get them really consistent, but I get lucky here and I get through it. 17 is one of those levels where you could fly through, but when you fly through it, you put yourself at some unnecessary risk. If you know exactly where to stand at the right points, you can kind of safely get through the level. 18 is one of the few gimme levels in this world. If you stay on the top path, going to the key, and then you stay on the bottom path coming back from it, the Langoliers can't catch you. 19 is a pretty tough one to get consistent. Usually by the time you get to this world in Super Meat Boy, you're pretty good at these types of platforming. I won't tell you how many times that last saw killed me going through this. The main problem with 20 is that it's just so super long, especially at the end, which has the hardest jumps. It's almost as if they reversed the level. It'd be easier to get more consistent because you could get through the harder jumps first. Luckily in Dark World, luckily, quote unquote, it's flipped. So you go from the top to the bottom. And here we just jump in. We're just jumping over these tiny things. And so at this point, I don't really expect to get anything from this run. I'm just kind of running through the levels. And as I beat 20 here, I go, hey, maybe if we go all the way back, magic will happen. 1 is a level that isn't too hard. It doesn't have any like crazy technical platforming in it, but it's a level that when I'm really nervous and I've done a lot of successful levels already, I'll just mess it up right at the beginning. So it's a good level to get out of the way. Number 2 has a trick where if you wait till about here and then you go, you can kind of have a spot of safety, and that helps with coming down. This probably took the most practice out of any level. I know it seems stupid, especially with that hole in it, but I could not get that jump right. 3 is another level where you can go super fast if you want to, but there's no reason to rush this level. You can go take your time. That's kind of what I'm doing here. Same thing with 4. You can jump every time these things move, but I have been hesitating recently. You get it more consistently if you hesitate when the fans are going to the left, and then you go to the right. Not fans, buzzsaws, whatever. You can actually run through that last saw as well, but it works like 9 out of 10 times. So I don't usually risk it when I have a lot of levels beaten. This is a level where you just need to be consistent at. 6 is a level that I shouldn't die all the time on, but I really do. For some reason, I just don't do the jumps right, and I just run right into a saw. 7 is by far the worst level in this world. It's not consistent at all. The fans are terrible. They seem inconsistent. I can't, it's usually the first level I do, especially so any recording of this wouldn't have me repeatedly exiting a map, but it kind of can't be helped because it's in the middle of the run here. And so sometimes you'll go too low and you'll hit the second fan. Sometimes the first fan puts you too high and it hits you on the second saw in the middle. And so all I'm doing here is to get a good send-off of the first fan that I'm pretty confident will get me all the way to the second fan safely. That one probably would have been fine, but you know, want to be sure at this point. And we finally get it. We grab the key and we come back. Coming back is a lot easier, obviously, because you don't have to jump to a second fan. 8 has a huge skip in it where you don't have to deal with these stupid red guys. You can stay low here and jump all the way across the gap. I think most people know about that who are going for this trophy. I actually mess up there, but I kind of bail because I'm scared that I'm going to mess this up, and I actually don't know how many levels I have left. I know I have to at least beat 10, because 10's one that'll really mess you up, and when I'm running these in an optimal order, 10's usually fairly early because the rockets tend to be unpredictable. So here we are on 10. I was able to get 10 relatively consistent. Usually what would happen would be the rocket in the top right at the very end of this level would sometimes shoot very quickly and just immediately kill me. Eventually I got that pretty consistent where it wasn't doing that, but I'm always ready to pause right when I get to the top here, just in case that happens. But it didn't this time, so I'll get right by it. Earlier this same day, this level had killed me probably 4 or 5 times when I had done 15 other levels. So it's not, it is a hard level, but it's pretty easy to get consistent once you know how to do it. 12 is one of the free gimme levels, which luckily for me is also the last level that I have to do. And that's Girl Boy. So I hope you got some help from this video. The only recommended piece of advice I have is just keep trying and eventually you'll get it. This, again, probably took months and months of practice. I finally got it. There's still more to come though. There's still 2 more trophies, but one day.